everybody, welcome back. We're going to go ahead and continue on with this room drawing. I'm going to finish it up with a flooring treatment on here. I'll show you guys a couple different varieties here. So first thing is this though, before you do flooring treatments, you have to make sure that you have everything on your floor. Okay? If you start putting in flooring treatments, you say, oh, I got all this detail, I put in all these dark lines in my flooring treatment, but I want to put a couch here. Then you got to go and erase it. And sometimes it's hard to erase, but it creates more effort, creates more work, and it just doesn't look as nice and neat. So get your stuff on first, then you're good to go. Now, a few other things that I did not show you that I thought, that might make sense to do is if you wanted something that's kind of rounded, okay? Let's say you wanted to kind of put a little potted plant over here. You could go ahead and do that. You just got to make sure that the bottom is kind of arched. You got kind of an oval shape here. What's kind of nice is you really don't have to follow the rules of perspective with anything that's rounded, okay? You gotta just make it kind of look like it's more three-dimensional, almost like a cylinder shape, okay? So you got something like that. Anything on the back wall, so you got kind of a rounded clock. Once again, just be kind of rounded like this. You may see a little bit of the edge of it's protruding out a little bit, but that's pretty much what you got about that, okay? Now, wood flooring is probably the easiest to do, okay? Well, actually, the most interesting. I like the wood flooring. If you wanted to leave it kind of plain, you say, what if I want just carpet? You know, it's kind of hard to achieve the whole kind of concept of carpet. I've had kids kind of go in here and kind of around where you maybe have furniture. They've gone ahead, they've put in almost like these little lines, all right, almost like little marks that kind of represent kind of the carpet that you have, and it's kind of tufted around here and there. And you know, it's not even a bad idea to even take like a piece of paper towel with a little bit of graphite and just very lightly put a little bit of value on it. Not a big fan, but if you want to put a section that does have carpet, you could. But for doing wood floors and also tiles, because I can kind of do these together, this is kind of what you're going to want to do. Taking a ruler, and you're probably going to need a ruler for this one. I suppose you could use your straight edge, but a ruler works a little bit better. I'm going to, on the back wall here, measure all equal distances. In this case, I'm going to make these every 1/4 inch. Okay, it's entirely up to you. And I'm going to go right over my fireplace here too. You can kind of change these measurements up a little bit, but a 1/4 inch in this case looks really good. So I'm going to go ahead and take that, and every one of these marks, I'm going to line up. Notice this. Taking this mark, vanishing point, this mark, I'm just going to take it, and we're going to draw it straight out. In fact, what I'm going to do too is this. I'm going to continue this on right here too, just kind of finish up this whole kind of concept. All right, and every one of these is going to go down to the vanishing point. Awesome. Okay. And even right here, now be careful too, when you get to like your furniture, your fireplace, you got to kind of put it on the open floor. Don't draw lines through your furniture. That kind of defeats the purpose here. Oh gosh, where's my other mark? Is that the right one there? Boy, I guess it looks like I got a lot of space here in between. But it makes sense though too, because as it gets closer towards me, it should start widening out a little bit, these planks of wood that I have here. So that I guess does make sense. All right, I'm just going to put a few more of these in. I'm just going to stop so you guys get kind of the gist of what's going on here. And we should be good to go. All right. So that looks pretty good, you guys. I've got some of my lines here. Notice my ruler's constantly turning. It's almost like the hand of a clock. It's always rotating over. All right. So I've got these wood planks here. Now, to really kind of sell this off as being wood, what I've done before in the past is I've had kids go in here and put in lines, and these have to be straight up and straight across. If you make them angled, what's going to happen is this. Okay, if I go in here and put like an angled line on this, it's going to look like your wood boards are kind of tilted in a little bit. And it's going to look like it'd be really hard to stand on a flat surface here because it'd be very uneven. So you want to make sure that you have lines straight across on your wood floor. And I kind of just alternate them a little bit. All right, just kind of do this. Okay, I'm just gonna go back here a little bit too. I'm gonna put, maybe another one right here. And I can't draw too many there because I got my table there, but I'm gonna put another one there. All right, and you're just gonna kind of put the lines going in between there. That kind of plank them out. Now, if you want to, you can also go ahead. I sometimes put old school. If it's old school wood floor, put little nail holes in here. And the other thing too that's kind of fun to do is, once again, very lightly. If you're gonna put a pattern in here, I'm just gonna go ahead and put a little bit of a wood grain pattern in through here. All right, and this is meant to be pretty light. If you go really dark, you guys, it's going to take away probably from a lot of the other things you have. But I'm just going to go ahead and very lightly do that. And you can kind of see this on there, so it turns out pretty good. And that's kind of a nice way of kind of finishing that off. Now, if you wanted to do tile, one thing that I've done with tile is this. It gets a little tricky because the tiles that are farther away, are a lot smaller, and as they get closer, they're going to get a little bit wider. And one thing I found out that works for tile is this. Going from this corner of the room, and oh shucks, I suppose the corner of my paper, we're going to try this, see if this works. I go and I put a light line right in through here, okay, like that. All right, and everywhere where that light line intersects with my lines that I drew for my wood, I'm going to draw a line straight across. Okay, so we're going to try this out here. I don't know if it's going to work entirely well because my room's a little bit more of an oddball shape, but we're going to give it a shot here, you guys. All right, actually, it doesn't look too shabby. It looks pretty good. All right, and in theory, what should be happening is as I get closer to the bottom of my paper, the key is too, you got to make sure these are always straight across too, is that it should be getting thicker and thicker. Okay, it is. That's actually looking pretty good. So this would be a good example of tile that I could have back here. You know, I've had people go in here, then they go ahead and they kind of shade every one and every other one and create a kind of a cool pattern, or you could leave it like this too. That's kind of fun too. You know, sometimes it's nice to kind of play around, maybe do a little racing in here too. Maybe it look like it's kind of shining as well, so you got like a little reflection. Kind of that's fun in there as well. Oh, and don't forget too, you always want to kind of go back in and kind of clean up a little bit of your guidelines. All right, those are kind of separating them out. But otherwise, that does. It looks kind of fun. I like that. So, you guys, that's just adding in some flooring treatments that you have here as well. Additional things too that I'm thinking of now that I've got you is if you wanted to add some things to the top here, sometimes it's nice if you're going to go ahead and add like a window or whatnot. Same thing. You start like you did before. You're just going to do 2 lines straight across. Okay. The line that's closest to the edge of the paper, you're going to take those edges or those corners, and you're going to go draw a line straight to the vanishing point. Boom, just like that. You know, really quickly, because I don't want to turn this into a window, I want to show you something a little different. But if I wanted to kind of turn into a window, I'd bring these 2 lines straight up, straight across, and vanishing point, vanishing point. And that would give you guys kind of that whole window feel. But if I wanted to turn this into, let's say, I want to turn this into like a ceiling fan. What I usually do is I drop kind of an oval shape here. I have kind of a blade that kind of comes up here. Now notice I'm using kind of the box as kind of a guideline to kind of keep my shapes in here. Go do this. And a lot of times too, I'll have like a pole that looks like it's coming down and kind of holding it right there. And then I can go ahead and kind of erase the box for the guidelines. Okay, so that's just kind of adding in like a little ceiling fan in through there too. So right now, you know, I got a pretty decent looking room. It's nothing fancy, but you know, I've got some of the basics in here, and that's kind of the point of doing these drawings, just showing kind of the basic shapes that you have. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been fun, and we can't wait to see your practice room drawing.